Welcome, welcome, and welcome. Welcome. Hope everybody's doing great. Thank you for being here. We are just testing out the live here. Got to make sure everything's working is the way it is intended to. So if you're cruising through, let me know if everything's working. Give me a thumbs up. That always helps out the algo. Also, I hope you guys had a wonderful week. Hope you're enjoying your weekend. Hope everything's going good. Hope you're keeping all your fingers. This thing might be looping. We'll see what it's doing. Make sure.
Wonderful.
Hey, so far it's working pretty good. And just remember, we're obviously on the live, so you guys are more than welcome to ask any questions. Um, Garage doors, business, truck, how do you get in, how do you get out? Obviously, if you got anything to add it, you know what I mean? If you got anything to add to the studio for or the community here on just anything, you know what I mean? Like questions, concerns. I'm going to kick it off here a little bit. I'm working on this Genie. I don't know if I can zoom in. Can I zoom in on this? Let's try this again. It says new layout. I don't want new layout. I feel like I always ask myself this every time. Full screen layout. Let's see if I can blow it up. Really didn't do much. But I don't know if anybody else lays their openers out like this. I just kind of get them hanging. Found out worked good on this job was actually to take it and put a ratchet strap on the other side to level it out. Worked out pretty good. Let me see here. What's up, Mr. Rusty? Did you take the day off or you working, Rusty? Playing around here for a second. Bam. Bam. So this is our one job that we're working on. I'll throw a few more pictures here. And it took me a minute. Cap's a lot better. A lot of the guys are actually better in programming these openers. I wish I had the inside of this. It's kind of weird. Like when you first set up your opener, I'm always like, I want to set my limits, right? That's my first thing. I always like want to set limits where this is kind of like a digital display in there. Can't really like do that. So that's kind of a little bit, the rope thing on these Genies are a little bit goofy too. I'm not a big fan of the rope situation on there. But we're just doing our verticals. They finally got up. I just forgot the name of it too, what this was called. I thought they called like Geo Wrap or something like that, where they put the white stuff up and then they ended up give us red steel back here. But I realized something that was kind of a pain is we're going to probably have to go back one more time because we got these boards in here, which is where the dock plates, which they did a really nice job, super nice job making it so you don't fall in these holes. But look, there's light. There's light. I don't know if it shows my mouse on this thing or not. I don't think it shows the mouse when I'm pointing to on here. But if you look at the bottom of the door, there's going to be light. So once they get the dock plate in there, you know how that's going to go. Limits are going to have to be set. But what's good is as a benefit is that they have an overrun. I believe on the Genies, it's just an overrun. So I think you can go to 9. So you can like actually set it and it'll actually bring it down another half an inch. That's kind of nice just to bring it down. So the only thing is hopefully once they get those in there, we can sneak back in. Let me show another image here. So here's that funny bracket for the Wayne Dalton. I don't know if I like these end bearing plates. I forgot to ask the secretary. I was going to ask the secretary if I could actually order. I'm assuming you can. It's going to be more money. I assume I can order this with a split adjustable center coupler and 2 springs. The spring setup kind of really stunk because that spring pad was supposed to be probably another 6-8 inches, maybe a foot over to the left. And so I was nervous because I looking at this right now, you can tell the spring's not wound. And so, man, I was really nervous that when I was winding that spring, and I was bummed because I couldn't put the spring or put my spring turner on there to wind it for me. So I was really bumming about that. So we had to do her by hand, no biggie. And then the other thing is that how it is with one spring, because I got a picture, I think I don't know where it's at in the YouTube universe, but you can see there's a gap. I see there's a gap, and I'm like, man, why is there a gap on that drum? And I'm thinking, well, it's because that spring is sucking it, one way. Because I was like, I know I didn't leave it like that when you're winding it. What's Rusty got? Says a couple. We can throw them up here. Oh, sweet. Look, so you can bring them right up here. What's up, man? You're first too. No physical work. Couple of calls to order sections. Wanted to confirm for Tuesday service. He installed his new door and opener won't work. Ooh, what kind of opener? What kind of opener, Rusty? Do you know? Do you get any pictures? Did you, Rusty? You got to remember too. If you got those carts. I heard that you got the cart set up. I need a couple pictures. Email me a couple pictures of your carts that you're using for in the shop. How you're laying out your doors on them. If they're like a teepee or tripod or like a kind of like a kayak setup. I'm curious. Ooh, what I have. So Rich has got what you got. Will you have enough rod? I'm assuming enough room for two springs. I think so. I mean, I just kind of look at this and I go, man, if you chopped it in half, because I'm actually that spring pad. I think it's about a 6 or 8 inch wide red steel back there. I'm shooting real hard to the left. I mean, I even flipped my spring bracket. Um, so it would, like it would cup in, you know what I mean? Just to get another inch because I was sweating bullets. I thought, oh my gosh, I thought this is going to be the one that once we wind this, it's going to run right into the drum. We're going to need to go another full turn, or something to get the spring tension we need. This job was actually kind of a bear. I'm not gonna lie. It's a lot of little things. You know what I mean? It's like we were talking about the springs. The cables were too long, so they left the door, about right about 8 inches in the hole. So the cables were too long. And it's hard to see, but at the very top of these tracks, you can't see them at all actually in the picture here. The very top of these tracks, they have slots on some, but not all. And that's where your spring your spring bumpers would go. And nope, nope, they all didn't have them. So all of a sudden, Caleb's working on it and he's like, hey, he says, the other side doesn't have it. And I'm like, no way. No way. So I look and I'm like, all right, that's a quinky dink. There's, sure enough, there's like 2 or 3 more that are the same way. I'm like, darn it, Wayne Dalton, why did you do this to me? What is the size of that spring? I don't know. I don't know exactly what it is. I don't remember right off the top of my head. I mean, it looks like it's a 283 if it looks right for the wire, and then I don't know what the size of it's like 2 3/4. Nothing real big. I didn't even pay attention. I just was like, well, I assume, obviously this is a spring for it. It just kind of was a bummer because some stuff was off. Hey, I see cousin Evans here. Evan, I was just thinking about you as I was firing up the live. I was thinking, what's cousin Evan been up to? What's he got going? How's that low headroom door going? Did he chop all the rafters out of the way? You don't need those stinking rafters. Okay, I'll take some photos. Colpay gave us carts for free. Said wood to make them into track holders and one into trim holder. Nice. That's perfect. Yeah, Colpay, like the Clopay guy, like for a long time there. Like every time he would come, he'd be like, "You guys need some carts?" And I'm like, sure." So I mean, we got like even some just kind of sticking outside of the shop because we got like too many. We don't have a big enough shop for them. So I took a couple rollers off the one, but yeah, they were giving them to us. I don't know why. I don't know if that's like just a nice thing they're doing. I don't know if they just don't want to take them back and they have to deal with them at the end of the day, kind of like semi truck drivers, with their like semi truck drivers always like they want to give you the skids, which I'm okay with. I totally get it. It's in their way. So I normally take them because I mean obviously you can either just burn them, throw them away, use them. Cousin Evan. Ooh. That's not Evan? He says that's Mr. 450 to you, Dave. Ooh, nice. Oh, find extension strings for an 8-foot door in Canada. First time I've came across a Stanley with an 8-foot rail. Oh man. Oh man. Telling you, man. That's why didn't I label this one as a 5 mile famous? Yeah. I mean, this one's been turning into a this job here is turning into a handful. I ain't gonna lie. Not gonna lie. So I kind of got a question too, and if anybody's got any input on it. So this is obviously before they put up their wrap and their insulation. Our builder never puts us. They never put us a pad for our 3 button. So we always mount our 3 button to the track, and then I run conduit. I run conduit for the photo eye. I run another conduit for the 3 button, and just a stick up. You know what I mean? Just whatever. I use a 5-foot chunk for the three button, and then use a 10-footer whatever for the photo eyes, just to keep it kind of clean down there. There'll be some video and stuff about it, but um, I don't have a very good way. Like right now, I'm out of room. I'm out of room to mount uh the disconnects. Right, the genies have a red cord you got to pull, which is spongy. I don't like the genie pull cords on the commercial. They're kind of that's one of their like drawbacks. So they're kind of spongy. They're rope, the red cord you got to pull, and then you got to pull. Then you have the chain fall, and then you guys know obviously if you're dealing with a chain fall on a commercial opener, this little sprocket here with the chain fall that'll fall down. That thing will rotate if you don't pin it with the bracket that they give you. So I ended up getting some of these brackets, which I think are going to work. I'm going to mount them to the track. Mount them to the track, and it'll flare out, and I think it'll give me, um, somewhere to mount because right now the conduit's all in the way. Because I thought, well, I should have mounted the wall button lower, and that would have gave me room. But I'm out of room on the track, on the garage door track. So let me see. So something similar to this. This isn't exactly. This was just a reference I used, but I did get some. They were a little bit cheaper. I think they're about $27 a pop. I had to get 5 of them. So I'm going to try to mount them. They're heavy duty. Holy moly. So I'm gonna mount those, and then I'll have a surface area to mount my disconnect and keep it away from the wall button a little bit. But then it'll have a spot where you can at least hook your red cord, and then you can tie up your chain so it doesn't rattle away. This was just something I had a screenshot because I was sending it to the wife trying like, Mayday, help, find me a bracket, please. Let's see here. Was wondering, he says, but yeah, the distance, man, like this job's in. We haven't had super long days on it, but just a lot of little stuff, like the top brackets. I'm telling you, this job got broken into twice. They had a couple generators stolen. They took all the extension cords. So I'm happy now. At least we got all our stuff mounted up in the ceiling. Bummed me out though. They took it right where the scissor lift is. They took the stuff right out that garage door. Oh, burns me. Took it out the garage door. How dare them? Today on a Saturday, get more orders. Tell Kevin it's coming. It's coming. He's on our mind. We are definitely entertaining Kevin. We like Kevin. But, things aren't really like, on the resi side and stuff like that. Like I said, I know there's some gates and fence stuff, but, like I said, nothing's really kinda taken off. It's just kind of bleh, just kinda, you know, I don't know what's going on. Anybody got any input, what they think? Let's see. It's to blur out a couple things. I should have a new video later this evening or tomorrow. Ooh, nice. Let me know. Let me know when it comes out. I'll make sure to check it out. Like I said, unfortunately, my phone still doesn't, I don't get any notifications. I kind of like it. I mean, I don't like it for you guys, for like cousin Evan and Papa Tony and for everybody else. Um, but sometimes, man, you can spend a lot of time. The phone can really, it can just draw you down. So I just been leaving it. I just leave it. I get my text messages. It's weird how I still get Zillow. I still get Zillow notifications and housing prices, but nothing else comes through. I don't know. It's in the settings, obviously, but that'd be cool. Dun, dun. Maybe I could take some pictures or something or screen it or whatever. I could do some video content about it, Evan. Be like, this is what I would do. This is what I wouldn't do. I would just walk away. I don't know. I don't know. It's all good, man. I'm proud of you. I know I was going to show those brackets. I got to blur that stuff out too because I got a few things I wanted to show on the price. Plus, I wanted to do it honestly for myself for the future because I know I'll forget when I do another commercial job and I'll be like, man, those brackets work pretty good. I need to know the manufacturer. Ooh, 1900 box with a switch trim ring to mount the wall button too. That's above my pay grade. Incoming pictures from Rich, hopefully. Just take a screenshot or something. Holy moly. I thought I did pretty good in my L bracket, I mean, the problem is I was thinking, oh, maybe I could sneak like between, like the purlings of it. And then I thought, then there's somewhere I'm just in a dead zone. And I was like, well, that ain't going to work, and how far do you go with like stuff? And then it looks gaudy. And, sometimes put sheet metal up the walls, about whatever 6 feet or something, 8 foot. And then they do their stuff. Every job is different. It's like I need something that's kind of universal for like just I can mount it to my track. I can bump it out if I need to. But it's just in a weird spot. I just don't have enough room. Everything's got pipes in it. I don't remember how I've done it before. I know how I've done it before. I just never when I don't use conduit. I have wires zip tied in a corner and then I just mount it to the track. And it's kind of busy. You know what I mean? But it works. Ooh, look at Evan's starting to get busy. Good. Putting a door tomorrow on a Sunday. And then another estimate Monday. Nice. Very nice. Do you got like Monday off, Evan? Or is it just like after work or before work? Or how do you fit that in? I'm just kind of curious. That's pretty sweet. Did we get any input on the low headroom door? Is that kind of going to be a go or a no go? Let's see here. It's kind of weird too, because of course this job, right? I'm hoping we're going to be done. I think Monday. I want to get our lift out of there because the heating and cooling guy keeps stealing it. And it's okay, like, I mean, but it's like every time I come in there, it's like, dude, like, that's our lift. The problem is our lift is one of the, I think what it is, I think I figured it out the other day. There's our lift and there's electrician, but electrician is always there from like sun up to sundown. and that's his lift. So that's why they're always trying to take mine because mine's one of the bigger lifts there. Mine's a three stepper, is what I call it. Dun, dun, dun. Me because after the 12-foot commercial, I showed him and he said he was proud of me. He says everyone was shocked. That's cool, man. Like I said, hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's how it is. All you got to do is just make sure you take care of you. You know what I mean? Go make that baby money. That's what I say. Dun, 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 dun. It's kind of weird. That's kind of wondering though, Evan. Did you say something? You mentioned something a while back about saying about something about um turning the blazer, turning the blazer in, like returning it or something. I'm just kind of curious what you meant by that. Like, is it a lease or is it on loan or can you actually take it back at some point? Maybe it's different in Canada. I don't know. I was just curious. Only reason I bring it up is actually Caleb just had to take his um he had to take his truck in, and I think it's right about 2 grand. He needs some work done. And I was like, dude, I was like, that's just how it goes, like sucks. It's life. And so, but you know what you got? I said, as a runner, I said, and just keep, stashing the money for, yeah. Apparently, did I see this one? Low header waiting for opening to get done. Opening, okay, to get redone. That says after work. He says also changed out all the rollers for a guy because the plastic ones are falling apart. Yeah, I always remember Wayne Dalton. I told him, I said, I want the rollers with bearings, and the guy goes, oh, he says, you don't want the silent glide? And I said, no. I said, I don't like those. I said, those things are junk. He goes, well, Dave, he goes, that's why they're called silent glide. They're not called silent roller. They're called silent glide. And I said, yeah. I said, because I said, obviously, I said, it's just plastic on a metal stem. And I say, put a little grease in there. And they always go bad, 2, 3, 5 years. They start making all kinds of crazy noise. And they're junk. They're absolute junk. I've sprayed oil on them. Customer comes out and they're like, "Oh my gosh, it smells. The door's so quiet now." And I'm like, "Yeah, it's gonna last like 3 days. Don't worry. You know, like it's gonna come back because the rollers are no good." So if you're waiting for the opening to get redone, what's the opening gonna be? Are we going 7 foot? Are we going 6'3"? What are we getting that baby framed out to? So yeah, I was talking about my grandpa and the other comment. My mom, cousin were shocked because they never heard those words from him. From him. Oh, gotcha. That's all good. What's it got? Says I'm financing the Blazer. I have money I could just pay off the loan and be done with it. Oh, gotcha. I know when Mr. Mr. Caleb, he was asking me about, with the truck and the money aspect. And he's like, should I just like not do it and just get a van? And I'm like, whoa. Like, let's just calm it down here. I was like, let's not just jump into another vehicle that's gonna have, some other kind of hidden problems that we don't know about. So I said, well, and he's in good hands. He's got it's basically a family member. You know what I mean? So he's in good hands. Who's taking care of him? He's getting a great price, and all that kind of stuff. So, but he was going to jump into looking for another one. I said, whoa. I said, why would you do that? And I said, don't do that. I said, don't go spend, $1,500 on another vehicle that's going to need more work. I said, you know, I said, and it's funny because we have these things, right? Because he goes, well, what if I need to, haul something? And I said, whoa. I said, hey man, I said, there's cousin Evan. I said, cousin Evan's getting stuff delivered. I said, dude, there's always more than one way to skin a cat. And I said, here's the thing. I said, remember, I said, I said, "Is the phone ringing right now?" He goes, "Well, no." And I said, "Then don't worry about it." I said, "When worry about when that problem," I said, "When it comes, you'll figure it out." I said, "He's only a few months away. Most places I think won't let you rent unless until you're 21. He's a few months away." I said, "Dude," I said, "You'll figure it out." I forgot to even tell him last time. I said, "You got me." I said, we'll figure something out. If you got to haul something," I said, "you can use a piece together tube if you need to for torsion." I said, "I've seen people haul 2x4s underneath cars, strap them." I said, to the axles. Not saying it's right, but I said, you can rent. I said, you can ask somebody. There's so many options. But my big thing is just get the customers, man. That's the hardest thing. Get the phone to ring, get the customers, get the, people to know who you are, get the phone ringing. Um, Rolled out, but they break off the stem. Ooh. I don't think I've really seen too many break. I mean, I've seen them where they get pretty wobbly, not gonna lie. But I don't really see too many that br- break. Not that I'm saying they don't, but maybe they just maybe most of them have the rollers, the bearing rollers. Ooh, Rusty's got, he says, Dave, you buy a truck or van for the next service vehicle? I don't know. I don't know. That's a great question. I really don't know. No clue. I mean, the cleanest shirt in the dirty laundry basket, as funny as it sounds, um, from what I can tell from all my research, is it's weird, but the Nissan Frontier, the Nissan Frontier, I've heard a little bit about a water pump, but they're and the door and the dash, I guess, not the dash, but the column on the outside. But that's like for a brand new, you know what I mean? And that's probably not realistic because it just, you got to have a little bit more towing power, and so I don't know. I don't know. I mean, I keep hearing the 8 speeds and 10 speeds are having all kinds of problems on the GMs. So to be honest, it's like I think we're just going to have to either stay put until something either changes, or we're going to have to, if something happens, we're going to have to find a southern vehicle with maybe hopefully somewhat lowish miles. Because I'd rather stay in the what one is it? What's the Chevy? Is it a 4.7? That's their smallest, or 4.8. I think it's 4.8, 5.7, and then a 6 liter, right? And those are all solid, as long as you ain't got the active fuel management. And the 6 speed's a good transmission for the most part, as long as you keep your service. But um, the other ones scare me. I don't know much about the Dodge ones. I don't know what the Dodgers are running for service, but I mean, it's really hard to. And like I said, I just can't say I don't know. I mean, I've seen a couple of service trucks that they're older. Those are more for myself. Like I would either fix or something, but I don't know. It's like right now doing this job right here, it's like the kind of the long distance loser. Um, the Nissan's good on gas. The Nissan runs down the road really nice. It's comfy. I mean, you got AC, I mean, it's just a cozy vehicle. And so it's like you just kind of make do. And then with some of the one jobs, obviously you guys have seen me. I get the U-Haul trucks involved. So I don't know right now. Right now it's just kind of like I mean, I'm glad I ain't got a 6.2 point or 6.2 liter right now, 6.2 liter. Um, I think was it Dave's Garage? They brung in a Baby Max, Baby Duramax, whatever they call it, the in the Colorado that spit whatever. Something went wrong with the motor. I don't think they've got an update on what it was, but I'm just like, whew. I'm like, that's going to be a $10,000+ bill. I'm like, ugh, it's only got 80,000. Guy just bought it, put 4,000 miles on it. And it would be just like my luck like that. You buy something like that, new 4,000 miles you put on it and you change the oil and it pukes out the motor. The motor starts crapping out on you. That'd be my luck. What's happening? He says we're gonna get the opening to 7 foot. Oh my gosh! I was explaining to Rusty that there is enough room because the floor has enough dip around the opening. He says We've had room to put in low headroom tracks. Ay, ay, ay. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, this one's on you, Rusty. I'm blaming you. Um, Slipping floor is giving the illusion of more headroom. Oh, sloping. Sorry. Yeah, sloping. Rusty says I'm bad for getting to take pictures. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Da-na. Business was really slow when I got the Trailblazer. He says if I waited till now, I probably would have seriously looked at a used truck, not worrying about it being a day-to-day vehicle. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's kind of weird, like when you do the trucks. I think what I would do with the trucks is I would make sure it's got a headroom rack, a head rack, because that's how you can haul things. Like right now, like with the Nissan, that built-in oh, what the heck you call it, the roof rack. The roof rack is a savior, man. I'm telling you, like to put angle on there. I mean, I can haul 21 foot pipe on that thing. Top rail for fencing. I mean, it's great. It's great. And then if you do like I'm looking at probably gonna do like a possibly a hitch and then do one of those reverse. They have a universal one that's like on oh, I forget. So like you get like a bed extender, and then you can also like flip it, and then it's up in the air. I'm like, dude, that's gonna work perfect for me. I could like throw a door on top. I can throw whatever. I could throw my tools in the back if I need to. Um, what's up, Mister Freeze? Team. I see he's got team truck. What's up, Eric? Da-na. Yeah, I don't know what I think about the trucks. Like I said, I don't think they're like horrible, but I just if you ever get like you got your hands on one of those cutaway vans, the cutaway vans are just phenomenal. I mean, like you can have the heat on. I mean, you can like literally lay in the back of the thing and take a nap. I mean, you can go back there and use the bathroom. You can have a party. I had change of clothes back there. Um, I'd go back there. I literally had enough room to wire up a garage or not a garage door, but I wire up a gate operator. Like I'd start wiring up the keypad and stuff in it or the 3 button. Um, the cutaways are the best. I mean, the bumper on the back is amazing. The locks are amazing. They're just, you know, but if you're like probably like doing like always some kind of construction where you'd have to like always have 4-wheel drive to get up into the house, like for a builder or something, maybe trucks. They all have their pluses and minuses. You just figure it out. I mean, this job right here, that you're seeing a picture of, we couldn't even get close to this. We had to use a SkyTrack. You know what I mean? It was just so bad in there. I mean, you had to have 4-wheel drive to even tempt it. But this one I brung the U-Haul truck, so we hauled the stuff in the U-Haul truck on this one. Should be some video on it eventually. Show another image of it. Where did I stop here? So Eric, did I put that on there? Evan, a new track or just horizontal? If just getting new horizontal track, you'll need to cut down vertical track by 6 inches. Oh my gosh, Kevin, why did you bring that up? I'm already just my fingernails are gone thinking about that job. Oh, Dodge equals rust. I think you're right about that, Eric. I really like the era of like the 90, I think it's 94 is when they came out, 96, 2000, the ones that look like a truck or like a semi truck. Those I remember seeing the brochure because my dad, where he worked, they were working on the shifters for it. And I remember seeing the brochure kind of before it came out to the public because they were, obviously kind of behind the scenes. And I was like, dude, I'm gonna have one of those trucks one of these days. Like, I want one so bad. And then I had a couple. I think I had 3. One was a gas or 2 were diesels. And honestly, on those Dodge trucks, those 2000 eras, the ones that look like a semi with the 12 valve and the 24 valve Cummins, um, really liked those trucks. I really liked the layout in them. I liked how I sat in them. I could always see, like, I always felt like I was in control of the truck. Um, it was never like I felt like I was like I can't see my hood or anything. And I like the layout inside. I like the fabric for the most part. I always like that I don't know what you call it. Looks like what is it? Cocoa Pebbles, the fruity toot ones or whatever. Colored scheme or whatever it was on the seats. But man, you look at them all over the fenders and that and everywhere else under the rockers. Holy crap. It's like they use the thinnest steel possible. They're gone. That's why it's like always they say like, the motor will outlast a truck. I mean, it's just phew, it's bad. Kevin, are you referring to my low head gig? That's what Kevin, I'm sure. Yeah, he says yes. He's better than the 6.4 Power Stroke. Why'd you have to bring that up, Eric? Is that because of me, or do you know I had a 6.4? 6.4 was garbage, man. Couldn't rebuild it. I mean, dude, I've gone through like some really bad times with. I remember kind of that whole what is it? It's like young and dumb, right? So what was I going out of? I think so I went, that's what it was. So I had actually another Dodge. That was like a 2000, I think it was a 2004. It's the newer body style a little bit. And I bought the Hemi. The truck had a little bit of lift. The truck was a little bit unreliable sometimes, but it had quite a bit of power, right? And I remember like it would spin the tires quite a bit. Like you just gas a little bit and wanted to like break the tires. I don't know if it had low gearing or what. And it almost felt like too powerful, but it was lifted. It wasn't a good overall truck. I was like, so I think I got rid of that. And then I was thinking, I'm gonna because I came from I had 2 Cummins. I had a 12 valve and then I had the 24, and both were torquey as hell, but the highway, they always didn't do so good on the highway. Like I felt like I could never pass people. It always kind of irritated me, you know, having this big burly diesel, and I can't pass people. So I thought I'm gonna go with V8 this time. And I'm in the illusion, right? I'm a younger man. I'm in the illusion that a V8 and anything that's a diesel will last forever. I mean, you should all get 300, 500,000 miles and no problems. That's when it'll start making blow by or something. So I bought the 6.4 and I bought it from a guy in Detroit. And I remember I test drove it. I remember when I opened up the hood, I was like, oh my, I said, this thing is like crazy. This looks like Transformers. Like, I have no clue what this stuff is. And I remember the guy telling me, he's like, he's like, you probably, if you're going to keep this truck, should delete it. I'm like driving the truck. I'm like looking, I'm like, yeah, I probably will. Yeah. Like I know what I'm talking about, which I don't, you know? And yeah, so that truck was just, I mean, nothing but problems and cost me a lot of money. I think I probably had about $10,000 into that truck. With head gasket and studs. And of course, anything I ever touch, I always, do the best of the best. So we, did APR, head studs. And I mean, then the radiators are known. So the radiator went out and then I, put the Mitsubishi or whatever it's called, Mitsu better radiator in it. So then I found out later on, the resale on it was not that good. A lot of people knew about it. So, I mean, but it was probably a decent truck for whoever had it after me. Cause I mean, went through. I mean, it sounded great though. Boy, those 6.4s, man, they sound wonderful taking off by the curb and stuff. And just when they pass, man, they're great trucks for that. But liability, no, can't rebuild them. Basically, they're junk motors, disposable. And then when I heard somebody tell me, they said, the 6.4 is a bridge motor. And I was like, I wasn't going to ask, but I was like, I'm like in that life now where I just like, if I don't know, I ask. I'm like, what do you mean? What a bridge motor? And he goes, well, it was the bridge motor from, they had so many problems with a 6 liter. They had to do something. They had so many lawsuits. So they did the 6.4, but then they went to the 6.7. And I'm like, oh, so now you're also buying a truck that, there's not a ton of them made. I mean, I think it was made for what, 3 years or something, but can't quite remember. Ooh, the salt on the road is what? My last Chevy. Oh my gosh. At 9 years old, 150, two rust holes in the, oh my gosh, in the frame. Wow. I'm telling you what, man, we got a place now over by the shop that does I don't remember what it's called, but it's basically like a fluid film that I mean, I'm telling you, if the trucks aren't that bad, get that stuff sprayed. The vans are definitely going to get it this year. I just don't know when exactly to do it because they will drip for a couple days. The guy says to take it down a dirt road that'll help kind of clog it up. But definitely I'd do it like on a Friday, let it sit over the weekend, then Monday or something, Tuesday, rip down maybe a dirt road and then be cautious, parking at customers, give it about a week, just being kind of cautious, a couple more days, honestly, and you should be fine. But I'm telling you what, that stuff is amazing. I'm definitely a big believer. And that guy charges really good. So I mean, it's only like, gosh, I can't remember what it was. It was a couple $100. I mean, it wasn't as much as what I paid before. Ooh, Kevin probably cut the verticals. Yeah, I think that's what Kevin's saying. Typically, if you do low headroom, if you add low headroom to it, you got to cut the verticals. There's a whole madness to it. Like I said, it's not fun. For later on the side track will be 14-inch less than door height on a Clopay setup. Correct resting normally 8-inch less standard. That's why I mentioned taking another 6 inches. Yep. And then you gotta, yep. If he only gets new horizontals, correct. Correct. Yes. I would definitely block off 2 weekends for this door. That's what I would do. Because it is going to turn into a can of worms. Or as long as the customer's ready to rip out rafters, then it'd be a lot easier. Eric's got, he says, I'd probably go with a van. He said I'd put a roof rack on for ladders, doors, rails, strut, etc. Everything inside the van is locked up and easy to get stuff out if you use shelving. Yep, that's true. That's true. What kind of van would you do though? What are you thinking? What year? What make, model? What do you think? What color? Color? Would you go white? Would you go red? Go blue? Crappy part about white vehicles is that the rust shows up really easy, but that's kind of the normal service vehicles. White, red, I don't know. Red does a little better, but I'm not saying it's like perfect or does a ton better. Eric's guy says, Team Van. Team Van, man. Vans are they're kind of cheap. They're kind of that underdog. You know what I mean? They're kind of cheap compared to trucks. Trucks typically, with the 4-wheel drive and all that kind of stuff. You don't have as many moving parts if you don't have 4-wheel drive. So that's kind of nice. You just got your normal front end part stuff instead of a transfer case and more things to maintenance. What's move up the rafters would be awesome. That's what I'm thinking, man. Like if you're doing all that, just they already peeled some new ones in there. Just say screw the low headroom track and all that. Just take well, I think some people do like plywood, right? They take plywood and they sandwich it to the boards, to the rafters, and that kind of helps keep it from spreading because that's part of the problem. Or just bring the boards down, just enough to leave an inch or two of the door or opener or whatever's, there and call it a day. You know what I mean? I just forget those rafters because, like I said, this could turn into a real can of worms doing all the low headroom and stuff. I could just see like the manufacturer totally botching it too. You know what I mean? Like, what's this? What did Wayne Dalton do on this one? Let's see. What did they get us on this one? They got us on the brackets. They got us on the cables. Then they got us on the cables were too long. Things were crooked, which, like I said, it could be the brackets, could be me. I'm not going to say 100% that was them. Just a lot of little stuff. Had to put the bottom seal on. Oh, I love putting bottom seal on. Absolutely love it. They give us some weird brackets on this bigger door over here for like support. It's kind of weird the way it's set up. Um, so that was interesting. The track was really long. It didn't have to be that long. So we put our bumpers. You can barely see it if you look up in there in the ceiling. We had our bumpers about only a quarter in, which worked out good because there's a heating unit that's dropped in there now. So I'm sure they're happy about that. But it was like, do we cut our track or do we just like, and it was like, just nail it. We're just going to nail it there, call it a day. Oh, ooh, the LBZ, the Duramax. Wasn't the LBZ? Didn't they have like? Wasn't that like known for injectors? But that wasn't too bad. I forget. I don't know what the T. I never heard of it called the T44E. I'm not too much on the terminology behind the scenes for the Cummins. I wonder if that Cummins, if that's a 12 or if that's a 12 valve or 24. I just remember with the 12. So like here's another thing, right? I don't really prefer diesels, right? Because if you use it all the time, right, for unless it's going to sit in a shop or something, the newer ones are better, but they got all the emissions crap. So who wants to deal with all that? But I remember the 12 valve, right? I took it up north for hunting, and we got done, 3 days in or something for the hunting trip, whatever. And I went to start the truck, and I literally, really, 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 really thought the truck was not going to start. I mean, just cranking, cranking, cranking. It would chug a few times. I think I even tried to plug it in for like a half an hour, just and of course, you know how it is. It's like I'm ready to go, and so I plugged it in, and it's like you're plugging it into the trailer, and the trailer's plugged into a cord, a very thin cord in a sense. And it's like, well, I hope I don't overload the trailer and wreck something in the walls or something. And plus it was where I parked. So I'm done. I can't move the truck and I don't have a long enough extension cord. So that was fun. And so then the next year or the 2 years, whatever it was, I got the 24 valve. And I thought, well, it seems to be starting better in the cold. So I thought, well, but I'll still park, close enough to the electrical pole. And I brought an extension cord this time, but that one started way better. I mean, it would give you a little bit of chug here and there, but it at least it would do it. But my 12 valve, mm-mm, mm-mm. Mm, Rusty's guys always charge more for low headroom. Usually an extra hour, 30 minutes. Man, I don't know. I'm really nervous. I'm not gonna lie. I'm nervous. Um, I mean, low headroom could be like you can't just order, I mean, you kind of can, but you got to know what you're doing. That's the problem. So like, I mean, like some low headroom, which was always weird, like AMR would always come inside hookup and then like Wayne Dalton would always be outside hookup. So you know what I mean? Like there's just so many little variables to them that just are, then it's which way do you wind the spring? Do you wind the spring standard or do you wind the spring reverse? Um, then it's so that's why it's like, man, if you can just get rid of the rafters, like that's golden. Cause by the time you know how it is, like when you cut the track, then you got to drill the holes. I mean, I know this is all small stuff, but it adds up, it adds up. And then if you're kind of, you know, it can get kind of nerve wracking, cause then you're sitting there, you're butchering because like now you butchered the track. So in my mind, it's like I've had situations like this, and I've gotten kind of the secretary's like, why do you need to do that? I'm like, because I want options, because when I'm there, I set a time, I want options, darn it, and so I've ordered them like standard track, and then I've also had low headroom track, but the problem is like when you do low headroom track, you know, there's like little brackets in there that people don't think about, right? Your top fixture changes, so I don't even know how I don't know how Evan's gonna get it. I don't know, the top fixture changes. Then there's the inside outside hookup. Um, there's stuff that changes. Then do you just suspend the brackets? I've done that before where I had to cheat and suspend them. Um, everything's crooked, nothing's fresh. I mean, it's gonna be, concrete's this, concrete's that, building's leaning. Um, the top panel is going to sit funny if you don't get it in right. That can be goofy. It'll slap really funny, how the door runs. So is it going to have an opener? I don't know. I don't think Evan's ever told us if this is going to get an opener or not. The ID chart says 1 hour extra. I think they're full of baloney, because then it's like, how when you do your drops, like some of you guys are like, like you like me, you're probably like, do you pin it at the top or do you pin it at both so it keeps it all structurally sound? You know what I mean? And everybody's low headroom is like different how they mount it and they rivet it and they put L channel on it. Some don't put L channel. It's like all goofy. What's Kevin got? He says probably more since he's retrofitting track and making cables. What? Why is, I mean, Kevin, I love you, dude. I love you. Like, why? But why do you got to bring, dude? Like, I'm like shaking here. You know what I mean? Because now I'm sitting there going, oh my gosh, like you got to have cable makers, and you got to have a way to cut cable, and you need the cable cutters, and you know what I mean? Like, there's just so many little things that I know I'm even forgetting. You know, um, I nip the track. If it's inside hookups. Um, and I don't even know how to explain it. It's just one of those things like you got to just, ugh. Mm. Then it's that whole, is it going to get an opener? Oof. Any 5.9 Cummins, the T44E is a 7.3 power stroke. Man, they always had a lot of good except for oil, right? The oil problems. If you don't keep good oil in the 7.3, that's their issue. And then was it the dowel pin on the Cummins? But I don't think that's real super common. You might get lucky. You might miss the gears. The dowel pin falls out. Used to Navstar names from oh, messing around with school buses. Nice. Man, some of those old trucks were just beast. Just beast. It's kind of weird though to see, like, if you look at kind of the newer, some of the V8s and stuff, it's like they got more horsepower and torque than the older diesels, so it's like, but reliability was there. Rich B. Oh, that's right. Plus, operator sensors are a pain on low headroom brackets. Oh man, isn't that the truth? Gosh, I've ran into that so many times. I'm glad you brought that up, Rich B. Because you're right. You're totally right. And then, so like, then I normally want to have I want to have a hammer drill, right? Because I've been in that situation because I've done it where I've blocked it out. That's kind of goofy. You know what I mean? Like, that's no fun. Block it out, all goofy. So then you got to have screws, right? You got a 3-inch or whatever, 4-inch screws. You got to have a chunk of wood. And then, or if you got a hammer drill, then you got to have anchors, right? To anchor it to the floor to make it kind of right. So it doesn't jiggle wiggle. Of course, you know how it is. The jam could be all rotten and flapping in the wind. Man. Oh man, PTSD. Oh, it just never, Evan needs to make a video on it. I hope it goes smooth. And he's like, there's nothing here to worry about. You guys are all crying. I just knocked the trusses out, went with 12-inch radius, and the customer's fine. The roof has came down on the garage door, and then now they just need a whole new building. And so we're just going to build it right the first time here. T44E is at the 7.3. Oh, okay. Cummins. Okay. So, all right. I'm learning. I didn't know the T44E was the 7.3. All right. Cool. That's cool. Learn something. I just learned even today, was it OBS? A lot of guys call them OBS, and I'm always like, OBS. I always thought that was just like their fuel injected, how they ran. But I guess that's like, what does it stand for? Is it OBS? It's old body style. So like I'm assuming it goes like square body, OBS, and I don't know what the hell they call the new ones, but I was like, oh, I was like, cause I keep hearing this OBS, like, oh, it's an OBS truck, sweet, or something like a form or something. I'm like, what the hell's OBS? I'm like, is that like throttle body or is that like just the spider fuel injected? I'm like, what's OBS? I just heard it finally. Somebody mentioned. I was like, oh, OBS. All right. And I was following one tonight. I was like, that's a clean looking OBS. Like I wanted to ask guy. Like I was hoping he's gonna stop at a gas station if I had to stop, and I'd be like, nice OBS truck, right? He'd be like, yep. I'm like, oh, sweet. Got it right. To swim is jump into the deep end. That's right, man. That's right. It'll be a good learning. There's no doubt. No doubt. Uh, ta-da. VT. Oh, Max Force. Oh, the Max Force is right. Navistar. Navistar. Isn't that crazy how they made such good stuff and then they all went bloop, 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 right down. Never even heard of that VT365. Max 47. Yeah, maybe I've heard that a few times. Interesting. Good to know. Tricks of the trade in. I feel pretty comfortable nowadays, but I also have a shop, that's like full of goodies but like when you're messing, like, I don't know, you guys let me know, but I mean, like, sometimes when I look at things, right, I go, things are engineered a certain way in the company, the factory, the vendor, right? They'll put it together if you order it. It's so much better if you order it as a package. Like if you try to build a car from AutoZone, it's going to be all jacked up. It's going to cost more money. You're going to be way frustrated versus you should have just went to the dealership and bought the car, right? And then you go, the alternator went out. I need to replace that. But when you're trying to if you try to alter it, it's like that stuff doesn't jive. And I just have zero confidence when it comes to like the box stores for this kind of situation. Your standard stuff, 12 inch, 15 inch. Even if you ordered it with the low headroom from them, I trust that better because then it would have the right hardware box, it would have the right springs, it would have the right, technically it should. But when if it's just like we're gonna slap some old overhead or some low headroom track on here, oh my gosh, please just take it back and order it. It's just a different animal. Rich B's guy, he says, or you floor mount them. That's what I was kind of saying. I floor mount them. That's why I need the hammer drill. So, but that's the thing. There's a lot of tools. Like I'm sitting here going, hey, make sure you bring some wood, some 2x4s in case you got to block it out. Hey, make sure you bring some screws. Make sure you bring the bit, right, for the screws. And then it's like, oh, hey, by the way, don't forget to bring the kind of expensive Milwaukee or DeWalt nice hammer drill, right? Because you will fight it if you use you can use the ones that are in the drills. Those do work, but the bits, they're just not as good. Then don't forget the special fasteners that go in the concrete. I have pretty good luck with I like to use the ones with the rubber, the plastic piece you pound in, then you put the screw. And I like it too because once you pound the ones in by hammer, you're done. What I mean? Like, good luck. If you made a mistake or something got screwed up or it didn't go down all the way or whatever, it's like you're done. You're done. You're done. Outside hookups stink though. I always try to make them inside. Now that I kind of know the trick, but it just depends if I don't have the brackets. If I don't have the brackets, I do outside, but I hate outside because it just feels like it always makes me wonder how they get away with that. You stick your hand or the cable snags your arm hairs or something. You try to reach around to do the wall buttons. Like, this is not safe. The stupid cable's right here. I had to run ugly low headroom jobs all last week. Oh, next week is better. but it's nice not using ladders. Yeah, that's true. I know it's like when I use like low headroom, I'm like, oh, I feel tall, man. Like, or something that's just like a low, real low door. I'm like, this is great. Like a 6'3" or 6'6". I can reach everything. Dun, dun, dun. Which those new LiftMaster sensors extend. Would be nice if the jams are solid. Oh. I noticed they for this job, for the genie job, they ended up giving us like some brackets that go on there to extend them. I kind of chucked them. I kind of hope I don't regret that. I thought these are kind of nice, but I just don't really want to store them. So, and I thought, look, you'll get more. You'll get more. But like probably like a residential situation, those might come in handy. Those little extenders. Mm. What is this? What is this? Drop back and punt. Is that like let somebody else deal with it? Uh which says not my favorites. Is it the low hydrum? It's just a gnarly, low hydrum always the top panel always flips funny. Customers complain how they run, especially if they're running them by hand. Um, they just always are goofy. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather, I don't know. You guys let me know. Would you rather do um, a low headroom? Would you rather do a low headroom with an opener, or would you rather do a low headroom by hand? I prefer a low headroom with an opener. I think it runs actually better because you're moving that top panel versus like when you got to push down on it. It's really got to, especially if it's got like a T handle on it. Man, that thing just whop. You got to flop it, and then it's like sometimes you can't get it to seal the best. I mean, there's ways to manipulate it, but it's like the opener. You can use that opener to help jab that top panel so it seals correctly. So I just prefer low headroom with an opener. Mm, what's he got in here? What is your favorite type of job? Door opener, springs, or other? I don't know if that's for Rich. That question. What is this? What do you got on there, Eric? It says if I had a Surewinder, I'd say spring. Wilbur, what's up? Low headroom with opener, inside cable hookup. Absolutely, absolutely. I don't think there's. I'm kind of getting the, if my memory serves me right. I don't think there's any low headroom that you can't do inside hookups. I mean, without modifying it just a little bit. You know what I mean? But if you have the brackets, that's the big thing, right? Because I've been to the job site and I was like, oh man, it's like, man, I wish I would have brought different brackets. I would have I'd have made it inside hookups, but I didn't have them. I just had the package deal, which was outside. I was like, crap. I was like, well, we'll do them outside. And my thing is always, it's always weird, right? When you do outside, do you have the cable so it sucks up, like normally I know when I'm there. Do you have it so it goes on the front of the drum, or do you have it go on the back of the drum, how it sucks up? It's always kind of a gamble, right? There's really not a big gap in there. I mean, and then it kind of like, to me, it seems like if I know they're going to run it by hand, I do it on the front. If it's going to be by an opener, sometimes I've done it on the back. Just depends on kind of how things lay out. Um, because they kind of still work kind of the same. They kind of sometimes they don't really like suck them right out of the hole like they should, like you'd want them to with low headroom. So that's why it's nice having the opener because you can pull it out of the hole, if it's, so don't hit a topper or SUV or whatever. Do 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 do. Richest guy says springs are fast cash. Yeah, I would agree. This question was for everybody. No, I'd kind of agree with that. Like I like that. You know, springs are fast cash. I mean, springs are, man. I tell you what, I've never had, like I said, it's one of those things. I never had a spring job. Somebody ever complained about it, scratched, dented. It looks goofy. You know, they just want it to work. Where, you know, it is. You're in and out. It's almost like you're a hero, you know what I mean? Because they experience something they don't like. You know, it's like losing electricity. Like, you know, when the consumers or the power guy shows up and he fixes your power, and you're just like, oh, thank you. You know, like, I don't know, it's horrible without electricity. Um, so you're kind of like the hero. I kind of like that, you know, or like the heating and cooling guy, you know, man, it's nice to have heat now. So they feel that pain. They don't like that they can't use a garage door. They want security. They just don't like something be out of place. Boom, you show up, do a spring. You know, plus it's like raw, you know what I mean? Like it's raw weight. It's like just great scrap metal. Versus like I always feel kind of bad like with sections. I'm always like, do they really want this for scrap metal? It's like a lot of insulation, you know, and very little metal, especially with some of the Wayne Dalton doors. You know, I feel bad. I'm like, I don't think they understand. They're like really not getting no metal. I think the screws and the hinges weigh more than the sections. It's just such tin metal. It's tin foil, you know. So but when you do the doors, you know, it's that, you know, you got to haul them. You got to be there for a while. You got to, you know, install it. You know, you got to hope there's no damage, especially if it's your door. All kinds of goodies. Mm, see, I'm trying to think about openers too. Openers, I don't know if I really get the fizz from openers. I don't think so. I don't think openers really, you know, springs are just simple. You know what I mean? Like there's no remotes, there's no keypad, there's no programming, there's no, you know, the old timers, right? They, you know, the second mailbox from my neighbor, I could hit the button and it would open my. Is this one gonna? And I'm like, I don't know. Like I don't know. I'm like, I always just kind of tell them probably not. I was like, they've really like, you know, I always tell them like they've crunched those things down a little bit, you know, because they were turning on microwaves and they were like they were, you know, making airplanes fly out of the sky. I was like, you know, they just can't have them as powerful as they used to, you know. Oh yeah, I kind of get that. Yeah, everybody. Front or door won't open all the way without opener unless you run the cables through sheave. It says to try to avoid front mount. Where's the cables quicker? Ooh, ooh, interesting. That's interesting. I always just kind of go with the flow, whatever it feels like when I'm there, when I'm looking at it, I'm kind of mounting it. I'm like, because you can always like that's easy, right? Flip the drums if you need to. Just seems like manufacturers they kind of all have a different little bit of different set to them. Not really, but that's what it just feels like. I just kind of go with whatever feels the best or the situation. Or if there's crap in the way, how I got to wind the stuff, or if I got something to rest against, that's how I'll kind of. But man, they're just such a different animal. Ooh, Rusty's got something on here. What's Rusty got? Rusty's got. I spent 20 minutes the other day setting up my queue. Oh my gosh. Setting up one, Aziz's second requires a bunch of extra steps. Ooh, that's good to know. I didn't realize that. But that's, you know, kind of one of those things for us. We just don't mess with it. You know what I mean? It's just too, you know, for us, it's just too much training. It's too much invasive. You know what I mean? That's your personal thing. You got to shut up your, you know, I mean, it's a good thing to do. I mean, it's nice for the customer and stuff, but it's kind of like I always turn them into like my worker, you know, when they ask me to like, can you make this program to inside my vehicle? I'm like, yeah, like, but you're going to sit in it. I'm going to show you how to do it. You know, because not like, I just have a thing. I don't like sitting in people's vehicles. I just don't want my screwdriver or something in my back pocket. I don't want them to go, you know, hey man, like calling me like there was 20 bucks in the center of my dash, and I'm like, that was your daughter that took it, or that was your mom, or not your mom, but your wife that probably drove your truck the other day, like that wasn't me, dude. You know what I mean? My proof of registration was gone, and I got a ticket, Ah, it was above the visor. Did you mess with the visor? You were there, And plus, I have to normally educate them anyways, because right, they always do like the push real quick. They push it, and they're like, it's not working. I'm like, it's a pulse. I'm like, go like pulse, slow push. Let signal burst. Send signal, then work. I go, yes, they're typically slower than your remote's going to be. Oh, okay. Ooh, he says part of the premium service I'm trying to provide. Hey, like I said, you know, if it works, it works. It does the job. It does the job. I said anything you got to do. Go back to my little spring setup. Trying to figure out if this is my lift or if this is theirs. I see the foam in here, but I think this is when they took ours. I think this is ours. One of their controllers is really wonky. This controller looks pretty solid sitting there. Ah, yes, this job. It's probably taking a little longer. We were supposed to knock it out like 2 to 3 days and just didn't work that way. Just did not work that way, unfortunately. I couldn't believe it. I can't believe I didn't notice that plywood gonna be a problem. And finally we're setting openers. Electrician just got power Friday. They just got power fired up for us in these outlet boxes. So that's great. Because that way I don't have to use the power pack. Plus they stay. But you know what I was just thinking of? I was just thinking, God darn it. I hope they don't lose their limits for some odd reason. Because I shut the breakers off. So that way with the boogeyman, I figure that way they just couldn't walk up, hit the button on this big door. So I hope Monday there's not a phone call saying, "Hey, the door went up way past the bumpers, or it went down and it threw the cables, or something goofy like that." I really don't know how the genies keep the memory. I don't know if they have a little battery. I know if they sit for a couple days, they're always pretty good. 2 to 3 days. It seems like they're okay, but I don't quite know. I don't quite know how they keep the memory in there because they're just using it off an RPM sensor, as far as I know, those commercial ones. But these are pretty tight openers. I ain't gonna lie. These things, like I said, I think we've only done one or two circuit boards in the years and years we installed them. Um, the mounting seems like they're a little harder than the LiftMaster. The screws in the back, like they're there's like stuff in the way. I don't know how to explain it. It's like it's hard. I have to use an extension. I need a good extension. If anybody has a good extension, because I use the one I buy from Menards, which I think is a 6 inch, but I almost need like a 12 inch, 7/16 one to burn it. No, I got to find some screws, man. I tell you what, Rich, I don't know if I think you sent me those one screws, but they're smaller. I'm thinking, and those I know if they're the gray ones, those are great. They use those all the time for putting steel buildings. They do those things burn great. So I actually went to what Papa Tony was mentioning, which actually worked out pretty good because I was getting exhausted. I ended up going to the smaller screws, the smaller self tappers, and I was punching holes with those, and then I was using the bigger tappers because the bigger tappers just absolutely suck to drill into red steel. They just don't work that good. But I like the big ones for mountain track, and so everybody's got one that cuts good that they buy from. That's actually the 7/16 the right ones. Man, that'd be nice. 'Cause I thought you talked about another one too, but I didn't. I figured you sent me a picture on that, Rich. What's it say? Other day, setting up my queue. Easy second. Do solid shaft on that job, Dave? Yes, everything was solid shaft. I think that's why we kind of got burned a little bit because um like I said, this was off. These were off. It was off like almost like I don't know, like an inch on the ground. I don't think you can quite see it in these pictures. No, because that's just dead weight. But when we got these fired up, this side, it was on all of them too. All of the right side raised up like an inch to 2 inches, and I was like, "What in the heck?" And I didn't check the cables. We ended up, what did we do? One of them, I banged the brackets down. That got me on that. But then the problem was is I mounted the openers. And I said we can't really bang that side down without loosening up my chain and my spreader bar. And I said, I really don't want to do that. So then we went to the left side. We ended up putting, I ground out a split collar, one of the buttons. We put one on, it needed two. So we put two, and then we just kind of lightly swedged them on there. Um, and that's kind of working. So I think we're just going to go that route, instead of cutting it. Cause you know how it is. Like when you're in between, if you cut it, the wires are going to split, and then you got to swedge it. Um, this would have been a job. Like, remember the old school, like you've seen some of the old school drums that the cable went through, that you could actually like tug on the cable and like adjust the cable on a commercial ish job. That would have been great. This job would have been great for that. Um, Man, that would work nice. But yep, everything was solid. And then Kevin was mentioning I could have pulled the key, and then crimped it down. That was an option too. But we shrunk the cable in a sense, by putting the buttons on there. Seemed to work, long term. I kind of was starting to get kind of a little bit burned out, kind of just like, whatever, man, let's get this thing. Like, that's stupid. We got to mess with this thing. So I'm wondering, no, I'm gonna mess with the secretary Monday and see if that's even an option. I'm assuming it is. It's just gonna cost more. Because if we can do a adjustable center coupler, and then two springs are always better. This one was just, I'm like, why did they send us this massive spring, man? I'm like, this is just, and like I said, the builder, we always give them shop drawings, and it was right on the shop drawing. I even looked at it and I was like, God darn it, it's over. You can see it in the print. I thought they just didn't catch it. And like, could you imagine, like, what am I supposed to do? Like, if I tell them, say, hey, you got to cut this Tyvek crap back, and like, you need to move this thing over, and then you got to patch it in. They already got this metal strip stuff on here. Yeah, right. Come on. What I mean? I got to have to figure something else out. I don't set up my queue. I don't like dealing with people's personal password, in my opinion. Too much liability. Yeah. Yeah. I get it. It's just too much. It's just too slow for us. You know what I mean? It's I forget how somebody told me one time. They said, um man, I wish I could remember how the fence guy told me one time. He says, like, I forget how he worded it. Maybe somebody out there knows how, but it was something. He's like, we do mechanical, we don't do software or something, or we do hardware, but we don't do software or something like that. And I thought, man, that made a lot of sense to me when he kind of told me that, like, we're here to put in hardware, we don't deal with software. And I thought, I kind of like that. Like, that's kind of how I kind of look at it to some degree. And like I said, it's not, you know, it's always to each their own. I mean, it's just for us, it's if I was probably if I was I think it's different, because if you're kind of a one man band, like when I first started and stuff, like you have choices, you know what I mean? But when you kind of have to set the stage for like the workers and employees and stuff like that, that gets to be pretty like you're asking for like a lot of phone calls, like, hey boss, like, so I'm trying to set this up for them, and this isn't going right, and this isn't, you're like, dude, like, you're supposed to be at the next job, like, what's going on here? And there's just all kinds of, like, especially for us in Michigan, we're so rural. I mean, internet's working, internet's not working, the internet's down, the internet's, I mean, it goes round and around. There's so many glitches. My phone has glitches. Rusty. It says you don't have to enter password, just walk them through it and press learn button. Ooh. Isn't it supposed to be though? Aren't they supposed to be able to do it from like the wall button nowadays? The wall station. Can't they just hit the learn button on there instead of being up on a ladder? It's always kind of nice if they can do that. I thought that was kind of the new wall buttons, so you can just show them like, here's the learn button. This is how you do it. Um, I figure if they want to do all their snazzy features and stuff like that. Do you have to, Rusty? Do you have to pay a subscription for that MyQ? Um, because I remember when they had what was that little black box? I don't remember what that's called. I remember a guy came in, one of my workers, and he's like, "Here, you want this?" And I'm like, "I don't know what it is." And he's like, "It's MyQ or something." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm probably." He goes, "Well, if you do," he says, "you got to pay like I thought it was like $30 a month or something." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah." He goes, I think they were giving it to they were like in the box. This is quite a few years ago, so I just didn't know if they kind of reverted away from that to do the MyQ. I always just left instructions and told people, says, it's right here if you want to. That way I figured if the prices change or whatever, they don't, I don't have to sit there and deal with tech support and money and, all that kind of stuff. Do, 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 do. Oh, Cousin Evan skin. Dun, dun, dun. So if they get deluxe wall or doorbell style. Ooh. Yeah, I guess I still make the doorbell style. Now I think of it. I just did one not too long ago, right? Makes sense. Makes sense. Subscription for video keypad and cameras to run the door. Subscription for video keypad and cameras to run the door. I guess the keypad one throws me a little bit. Like I understand video. Oh, the keypad's probably one with a video keypad. Oh yeah, I gotcha. Well, how are they making money? Like they're got to be making, so it's just off the video. I mean, they're not charging you to see if your door is up or down or close it or anything like that. Which this guy says, I think just for video storage. Okay. So that's kind of the introduction, basically, right? So you get into the MyQ, hey, cool, you can watch this, but then that's why they're probably trying to push, the video and their keypad with the camera, right? That's where they get you. That's where they'll get you for, 10, $20. I wonder, does anybody know what the subscription is to have the video camera and stuff like that? If it's 10, 20, $30 a month? It probably works like I got some Reolink cameras for like video for security cameras, and you can put an SD card in there. It'll I don't know how long it saves for, but it'll save clips, so it won't save very long. But then you can pay for the cloud, and then obviously that's where they probably get mucho. Everything's becoming subscription. Maybe Evan can tell us how many subscriptions are on his truck, because my dad's got a newer pickup Chevy, and he was telling me, he just kind of mentioned something about, like, he goes, if I kind of knew what I knew, he goes, I don't know if I would have bought it, which I don't know what else you're gonna buy because everything's kind of going that way. But I think he was saying something about, which is kind of obvious. What is it? OnStar, but then he said he had a feature where he could like start his vehicle from anywhere in the world from his phone. I think he had to pay for that now. I think he said something about the GPS he has to pay for. It was like 3 or 4 things. And I'm just like, I understand the OnStar. Like I get that, but like to the GPS and then for him to kind of lose the feature. I mean, so you know what I mean? Like, it's just like all these companies are trying to get you to, it's subscription based. You know what I mean? It's just getting kind of annoying. Video. What does it say? I don't think my area is big enough for Amazon Key. Yeah, I remember hearing about the Amazon stuff, and then it seems like it just really kind of fell off. Like, I mean, do they show like the one person that was working for Amazon, like they opened the door and there was like a chicken or something that's like coming out, and they're like, you just stay back in there, and it's just seemed like I'm kind of like, I could see where that's kind of cumbersome even for Amazon, and then like I was thinking like, well, like maybe if you had your house built a certain way, like you just had a room designated for the Amazon deliveries, but like to have them kind of like come in your garage and I mean, we've had packages that I'm sure you guys have experienced it too. Um, where they'll, where package somebody ripped the package and obviously took the items inside or, things like that. And Amazon's normally pretty good, but still it's just real inconvenience. Doo-doo. When you buy a new vehicle, app for the remote start is a free, I think, for 2 years. Okay. Um, I canceled. Why did you cancel? I'm just curious. OnStar, was it they're gonna charge you or you just cancel it? You don't want them tracking you, or I mean, even though the vehicles are all tracked now. But just curious why you cancel it. If it was just they're gonna start hitting you for a fee. Basically says the same as Ring. Yeah, the same. I kind of been thinking about doing like a Ring camera. Um, just I don't know why. I don't really need more technology. It seems like, but just it is nice to sometimes once in a while you're kind of like, whatever happened? Anybody, you guys all seen the propane, that crazy propane truck that exploded? Wow, that thing was nuts. I can't believe the driver survived. Just cannot believe it. The way you heard that thing explode. Definitely gave me a new perspective on propane tanks. That's for sure. And I didn't know. I mean, I know there's a reason. I figured it was more for like you got in an accident, but I didn't realize supposedly, right? The bleed off valve doesn't work if it's on its side. It doesn't vent correctly. I did not know that because we've hauled some 100 pounders and for like deer camp and stuff, and it's like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and I do know I had one time. It scared the living crap out of me. I had a forklift that was a propane forklift, and I remember I ended up I had two tanks, I believe. I had them both filled, and I put them outside behind my house, which is shaded for the most part. But I did notice the sun came around a little bit, and I think the sun hit the tank. Now it's a silver tank; it ain't like painted black or anything. And I'm in the house, and all of a sudden, man, I hear this, like, and I'm like, what? And it stopped. And then a few minutes later, I'm like, what in the hell is that noise? And I walked out and I'm like, oh my gosh, it smells like propane out here. What is going on? I'm looking at this thing and I could see obviously it must have came out the side, so it must have been overfilled. And I kept thinking, oh my gosh, like, could you imagine if that thing would have blew off what it just did for expansion in the garage? Like, I mean, it was gushing hard, and I thought, man, if you had like a furnace or something or a pilot that would kick on, kaboom. And I thought, whoa, good thing I had these things outside. Mm, same thing. I don't know who's still paying for GPS in the age of smartphones. Oh, yes. Yes. I would agree with you on that, Evan. I just my thing is that you know, I can see the problem would be is that some people like it to be on the dash, I mean, they want to hear it in their surround system or whatever. Kind of like the whole like, I want my remote program to inside my car. I got it. I want it. You know what I mean? So, I mean, I know it's kind of an inconvenience to, the smartphone and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure you can link it and all that, but normally this stuff's always like real analog, it's not very good. I agree. Mm, pay for the OnStar when I have a CAA. What is a CAA? I have no clue what that it means. Is that like AAA for like car service or something? Because what do we have here? Isn't it AAA? That's always our car service around here. Get AAA. They'll take care of you. They'll fix your flat tire. What's this? Is propane truck was an inside job? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? Uh, Richest guy, so they hope took out the extra insurance. Oh my god. Could you imagine? Sometimes they put so I found out this with like U-Haul, right? U-Haul uh I was down there the one day and I had to get a smaller vehicle. So the smaller vehicles, like the trucks and the vans, supposedly the bank owns those, right? So the guy says he goes, "Do you want the extra insurance?" And I'm like, "Nah." And he's like, "Well, you probably should." He's like, "Because and the thing is, those things are beat up anyways. You know what I mean? They're not. I'm not saying they're really beat up, but they're just they're not like Enterprise. If you ever went to Enterprise and rented a vehicle, holy moly, man, they can walk around and they're like circling things. They're taking like video and they got their like little like printer on the side of them and stuff. I mean, that's like legit. Like they're gonna get you, man. One car chip in it and you're paying for it. So, but anyways, he told me, he said the small vehicles the bank owns, so they're more picky with it. Oh, interesting. So when I got a bigger vehicle, obviously they own that. And then the midsize one they gave me was kind of a clunker, but I was like, that time around, I said, nah, it's not paying the extra $30. But I could imagine, could you imagine, like, you have to call Penske and you're like, hey, I got the extra insurance, man. Like, I mean, it's got a hell of a dent in it. You you know, I was covered. I wonder how that all works. Well, I'd love to know the inside scoop on what's going to happen with all that. Because there was damage to the house, and I kept thinking, "Whoa, if there's like damage to the house," I'm thinking, can't they go after like Penske's? That should be what there's the general liability, whatever. That's their insurance should be. And I thought, yeah, how that goes, or the money is going to run out. They're not covered for that much, so they're not. I can only imagine because I think I finally found a clip that was actually a local news company or news station there. They were saying like there was a brick house, the wall caved in, so they were boarding it up. I mean, I watched it a few more times. I watched the garbage can lids and all that kind of stuff, and then it shattered the front of the windshield on that one car. It's pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't good for them, but it was just wow, impressive that basically a 20-pound propane tank. I really wish it'd be cool if they could find out what they thought ignited it. You know what I mean? Was it a kid's toy? Was it the barbecue grill when it tipped over? The igniter hit something. I mean, okay, so CA is triple. Okay. It's just government. Canada's basically triple A, their way to get your money. The propane fuse made autistic. I made the product. Yeah. Oh, it's so crazy. Um, Rich's guy said explosion broke windows. Wow. 2 blocks away. Wow. Wow. That's so weird, man. Like I tell you, like, it's like it's made me at certain houses and stuff where I've lived, it's weird. Like I go to like the bathroom, there'll be like nobody home. Like sometimes you like let this puppy air out a little bit, while you're doing business. And then there's times where I've been like, I'm shutting this door, man. What if there's a loose bullet? What I mean? Maybe that door will ricochet it, or now that's gonna be on my list. You know what I mean? Or shut that bathroom door, just in case, maybe somebody driving by or something's got a little propane tank going on. And maybe that door will just save that glass or something from shattering and coming through. Maybe, just maybe. I just couldn't believe. I thought, oh my gosh, that's crazy. I think it's sincere's my theory too. I've had in places where I've lived and stuff, and even like on Apple and stuff, probably where the shop is, it's like I'm always just kind of like, like, yeah, you just take that crap right down the road. You know what I mean? Like I don't want to be no part of whatever that is going on or something they're doing, drag racing, speeding, whatever it is. Maybe there's an old beater truck that, I mean, I've had some guy one time, I remember, I could hear him coming down the road, I think I was up north. I could hear him coming down the road, bloop, 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 bloop. And I just kept thinking, golly, I said, don't let that piece of shit stop, you know, and it stopped right in the middle of my driveway. And the guy's like, he's like, hey man, he's like, I ran out of gas. He's like, you got any gas? I'm like, oh my gosh. I'm like, yeah. I'm like, let me go. I was trying to get down to the gas station. I'm like, to the gas station. I'm like, it's like 3 miles away. I'm like, you're that low on fuel. I'm like, oh man, just people, man. So it's like this propane. You wouldn't even have a thing, thing in the world to think about. Now I see another Penske. I'm like, just get that thing, just keep that thing going down the road. Don't be bringing that thing around. I don't know what's in there. Could be, could be all kinds of stuff going on. Could be making drugs in there. It could be meth. It could be a propane tank. Could be a real bomb. I don't know what it is. No thanks. I want nothing to do with that. So nobody's working tomorrow on Sunday. Nobody's doing no Sunday hustle. I thought about doing it. I got to do something with a kiddo, but I was going to work on this job actually right here. And then I decided, I thought, they actually put cameras up, which is a good thing because of the boogeyman getting them twice. Got him twice. Hit him twice. So they put up some cameras. I said, yeah. I said, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be on camera. And then they're like, do we know that guy or don't know that guy or just bugging somebody on the weekend? Because the one guy that's got it, he was mentioning that he was saying that it notifies him. Because I said, is it like cell phone? He's like, yeah. He goes, I get notified. I think he said they top us. Actually, I think you can see it in this tree. I think that must be where he put the other one. They put 3 of them up. And of course, I made sure when we left, because we had to be the last one. One of them last one. The drywall guy was last, but we ended up making sure all the man doors. I had Caleb. I say, hey, walk around, make sure you yank on all these doors. I said, I just want to make sure they're locked from the outside because you just never know. What's Rich got here? Video, rocket fuel plant in Vegas blowing up. I think it was in the late 90s. I might have to check that out. I might have to look on the old YouTube University for that. Late 90s. I don't remember that one. Huh, in the 90s. Ooh, you did. You said you were putting a door. I just kept thinking maybe you're off on like your door for tomorrow. What size is this door, Evan? What size is the door? Ooh, what's what Rich has got? He says a lot of most jobs had cameras nowadays. They should. They should. I'm kind of glad. Like I said, they need. I didn't realize that they got. This is actually kind of a good area, but it sounds like there's another county over, and there's a lot of some kind of drugs. I don't know. They come over into this, and I guess they hit every commercial job site, is what it sounds like. Dave. We buy the tools. No allowance, we just buy the tools and they, normally it's been always pretty good for the most part. They don't abuse it. I had a couple guys a long time ago, 2 sawzalls in 1 week. I'm like, are you serious, dude? Like, what is going on? What is this 16x7? Is it just standard track? You doing an opener, doing a rehook? Insulated, non-insulated? Is this one of those steel? Is it Steelcraft? Is this a Steelcraft door? Or is this like Home Depot, Lowe's? I'm just kind of curious. Taking out a door? What kind of door are you taking out? We're taking out a wood door, metal door, brand new construction, no floor, dirt floor. All these things go through my noggin. What color? Brown, white, raised panel, long panel, short panel, windows. Oh man, got to be careful of the windows. How many struts? Getting 2 struts? Better have 2 struts. It's always a must to have 2 struts. Weather seal. I wonder if Evan's a handbanger or is he a nailer? I don't know if he has a nailer. Let's bring out the air compressor. I was always going to I don't know if I ever did. I think I was going to. Maybe I did because mine broke. What a pain in the butt. I think I did it one time. I think I brought out my air compressor and my hose and my nailer. And I mean, it works great. They're nice and light and you boom, boom, boom. But having an air compressor and then trying to find power and then that noisy air compressor. Ugh. No, thank you. No, thank you. Go back to a nailer. Ooh, Rich has got and a safety manager to keep liability down. We never really deal with a safety manager at this one. At this particular, this is probably one of the most lax builder that you could ever have, I guess. You know what I mean? I mean, once in a while, obviously the hard hat's got to be come back out, but for the most, they're pretty much free for all. Just kind of do whatever you need to do, and um, you know, they've done all right. Done all right. It's kind of nice, kind of relaxed. Handbanger. Rich, you a handbanger? Gotta be dealing with Kevin stuff. They're gonna get some more. I like Kevin. They got some good stuff. Oh, that's right. That's right. How could I forget? That's right. That was a guy said I include screws and a drill is the weirdest thing. They got the weirdest weather seal up there in Canada. Evan, do they even give you? Can you even get normal weather seal like down here in the States? Do you even see that very common? It's like so weird. They do like that screw thing. Seems like such a pain in the butt. Like if we could just import you some of that regular stuff. Oh man, you might like it. Ta-da. What do you got? Steelcraft, raised panel, no windows. Replacing a similar door. I wonder what happened to the other door. Did it get hit? Just bad? Uh, Somebody smash into it. This is probably the insurance job though, isn't it? That Steelcraft. And make sure you don't forget, take pictures. Take pictures. Send me some pictures if you get them. Like to see it. It's always cool. I see some of those jobs. Steelcraft, it says. Ta-da. Wonder if Steelcraft will jip them on the length of the track for his backhangs. I haven't shopped around. The Wayne Dalton also comes with similar weather strip. Make sure you take a few pictures of that weather strip. That stuff is just bonkers. I mean, I don't know if it's better. I don't think it's better, but I could be wrong. I'm trying to still envision what your last job was when I had it on the screen. And that's different, man. That's different. The screws, like I'm just like, why? But why? Like I could see hand banging. I get it. Hand bangers, you hand bangers. Um, like that's okay. But like the screws, I'm like, what are the jams just built so tough around there? They got to use screws, like self-tapping screws. Is just I don't know. Just seems it just seems kind of bulky and seems kind of maybe it might be kind of ugly. I don't know. It doesn't seem very trimmed out nice. Maybe. Maybe if I've seen a couple another ones, and I'd be like, that grows on me. That looks good. That's fine. I can live with that. It says, yes, this is an insurance job. What time? How long do you think it's going to take you? 16 by 7? What are you going to do with the old door? What's going to happen with the old door? It's going to probably be, that's all going to be what? What do you think, Rusty? Rusty probably be like, I don't know, he'd probably say 4, but I'd say probably more like 6. I'd probably be like, that's going to be 8 hours by the time load, clean up, all that. Yeah, it's probably, you know, what's going to happen with the old door? Going to chop it up little pieces? Have the scrap man come get it? Definitely be interesting. Look at all these scissor lifts. Of course, the pipe fitter. Gotta have stuff right in the way. Mr. Pipe Fitter. I wish I could zoom in on this opener. One thing too about these commercial ones is that screw that holds that cover. It's like you gotta have a backup because that stinking plastic thing falls out all the time. It seems like if you're not careful. But don't you worry, Genie will tell you how great it is that you can pull the cover off, flip it around, and you turn the opener upside down. But what I do like is I like that actually Genie puts a cotter pin in on that clutch. I do like that. I like that they actually already set it versus like LiftMaster always got that plastic. You got to rip the plastic off. We got to put the pin in. It's like, come on, just put it in for me. Not bad units. Not bad units. Got a brake, good brakes on them. All kinds of good stuff. What time is it? We'll give her about 12. We'll give her about 12 since we're here. That's if this thing doesn't shut down. We're getting close. Oh, insurance Rusty's got. It's gonna be all day. That's right. That's right. That's right. It will be a full day. There's no doubt about it. Doing something like that. What did we learn on the last one? Oh, that's right. They got that weird strut system on them. And don't forget the sawhorses. Don't forget to bring some plastic or something to cover up the sawhorses so we don't damage the door. The struts were kind of weird. That Steelcraft. I wonder what kind of other options he has up there. Sounds like he's got Wayne Dalton. I wonder if he's got like Horman and Clopay and all, probably nothing close though. I just wonder how like Steelcraft, like how that works. You know what I mean? Like where that ranks. Makes me wonder. Makes me wonder. I still can't believe Rusty had rust hole in the frame of the truck. Holy cow, man, that's a lot, especially on those Chevys, man. Those Chevys got beefy frames on them typically. Cab corners seem like they always are the first things to go on a Chevy. I don't even know what you're rocking. What are you rocking, Rusty? What do you got? Is it you got a gasser, I believe. Is it the 6.0, right? I'm trying to figure out. I don't think you're running diesel. That's only Mr. Tanner. Gonna be all day in the hood. Oh, how do I do this? Let me click this. Whoops. Nope. Just turn that off. I thought it said show comments, and I thought, well, maybe I don't have to click you guys on there. We can do a private chat on here. We could do banners. What the heck? Why not? Come at a show on screen. This. Oh, I don't have a banner. Go back to comments. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great Sunday. That's for sure. Evan says, Rusty, I'd have to agree. Huh. Putting in a garage door on a Hyundai. Hey, that's good, man. Get her done. Get her done. Nothing wrong, like I said, get the tools, I start making a list, you know what I mean? So you can get faster at it for putting all your stuff in the vehicle or whatever you need, bring your list, make sure you bring a list so that way you can add to it when you're at the job. Like maybe you need to bring a broom, you're making a mess. Maybe you need to make sure you got some light bulbs, for the opener, even if it's a reconnect. Maybe you need to bring a staple gun for the wires or all that different kind of stuff. A 6.6, huh? How did the 6.6 do? I feel like I just seen another one. I was walking past one at the job site and I thought, I don't think I hear anything ever about the 6.6. Is that just like like Ford's got that 6.2 I used to have in the Raptor? It's so weird to me. Like you had, what is it, the 5? What's Ford got? It's a 5.3. Isn't Ford the 5.3? And they got the cam phasers rattling all the time. But then the 6.2, it like blows my mind. They got cam phasers too, but you never hear about them. Like I'm like, how is it the 6.2 doesn't have cam phaser problems, but the 5.3 does? And then so when I was at the job, and I assumed, obviously, I think I looked at it when I looked at the top and it said 6.6 on it. I thought 6.6 probably is diesel, but I didn't see no badges. I wasn't looking that hard. I just kind of seen it on the top of the hood or something. And I was like, it's probably a diesel, a 6.6. And I was like, that's what they call it nowadays. So, but I don't know. I don't think I ever hear much about the 6.6 on any of the things. I don't know if they're just a nice solid. opener, or not opener, but motor. Um, whoa, the vehicle. The vehicle and trailer is packed. What kind of trailer you rocking? I didn't think you had a trailer. I didn't know you had a trailer. Wow. Built before 25. 2025? Is that the 6.6 is what you're saying there, Rich? I don't know exactly what that means. Ooh, snap. Says it's the best work truck I ever had. I bet 6.6 is probably a nice size, big. I tell you what, I'm just running that big truck, that 40, even that 7.3, the gasser, man, that thing had a nice rumble to it, nice torquey, nice, just big gas motor. Um, you know, Tanner had to throw in here. I got the same thing, just a Duramax. So is it? Tanner, you have to bring me up to speed a little bit on this. So what is it? Is there a Duramax that's a 6.6 too? That's a Duramax. I mean, the newer Duramaxes I don't really pay attention to anymore. I'm so lost on the newer. I kind of know the Cummins. I kind of know the Ford, because the Ford's just stuck with the 6.7. But when it comes to the Duramaxes, I never had a Duramax. So they just kind of blow me. Okay, so there's a 6.6 Duramax. Okay. So they make a 6.6 gasser, and they also make a 6.6 Duramax. I'm surprised they even did that. I'm really surprised they even did that, because, like, I don't know how this stuff works. To me, it's like the news. You know what I mean? Like, the news all reports kind of the same crap. It's the same media, because how do I explain it? What was it that I heard? Wasn't it like Chevy? What was it? Didn't Chevy come out with a 6.2 or something like that back in the '08 era? It was something around that '08, because that was when I had the 6.4. And I remember it was like, supposedly, I don't remember why. I don't know why I'm thinking this, but supposedly Ford decided to go to a 6.0. Oh, that's what it was. I think Chevy or Ford went to a 6.0 instead of the 7.3. I've heard it two different ways, right? Obviously, one's the emissions. Another one is, the second would be, is because that Chevy was coming out with a 6 liter. You know what I mean? So they wanted to have, we got a 6.6, or not six, but we have a 6.0 too. It's a 6.0 and you have a 6.2 or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, they play these games. Um, kind of like the new, what is it, the 7.3, the Godzilla. I don't know if the Godzilla is really taken off to a lot of platforms compared to like what the LS was. At least I don't see it as much. And I thought that wasn't 7.3 having, they're having what, a cam. Everybody has, doesn't, I think it's like everybody has the cam phaser, not the cam phaser, but the lifter problems, tune up cams. I'm like, what in the hell? I'm like, I don't understand, you know, how that even, what is going on? Why are they getting all these problems? Duramax, yes, he said. I don't know what kind of trailer it is. You can tow it, and I can haul a 16 by 8. Ooh, dang, a 16 by 8, huh? What you got here? With the real Allison? With the real Allison, not the one that they bought, right? The Chevy rebranded their crap stuff, whatever, right? The real Allison transmission, a really well built transmission. Duramax is the only 6.0 Duramax. My 6.0 was a 6.6 Duramax. They have light duty the 3.0 Duramax that goes in half ton and vans. I wonder if the 3.0 is what they put in that Colorado that's at that Dave's garage that that just blew up at 80. The Baby Max. And they call it a Baby Max. Ooh, the 6 speed. That's a good solid one. Not the 10 speed. I tell you, I hear. I don't know if anybody's dealt with the 8 speed. I hear the 8 speed's no good either. My mechanic kind of. I don't know if he's quite up on the par of it, but he's got a 10 speed, and he kind of acts like, like, oh no, man, the 10 speeds haven't, just on the Ford side. I'm like, not from what I'm seeing. Obviously got the what is the valve train body that's going bad, and there's a company out there that makes different ones that keeps it from doing that. And I'm just like, what is it? There's that video of that guy hauling that camper and the back tires kind of locked up on him a little bit, and that shutter. And so I'm just like, perhaps to do a little more digging on the 6.6 gasser. I just don't ever hear nothing. They must be. I'm assuming they're pretty solid. I don't really run across any of the channels or anything talk bad about them or anything. I mean, I think I just seen, what was it that I think Ford just had that big recall or something, but they were saying, like, who was it? Was it Ford? Dodge? I think it was Dodge. Dodge had the problem with that CP3 pump, whatever, CP4. And then they ended up going right back to the CP3. And I was like, man, that's good to hear. Like, congratulations. Thank you for going back to something that worked before. Get rid of that garbage. And they were saying, like, I think it was Ford that still has decided not to change, and they kept going, and now they got a class action lawsuit or something. I thought, could you imagine that thing grenading and sending all that shrapnel through your motor? And what is that? Isn't it like I don't know, like a $10,000 bill to drop your tank and new fuel lines and all that other crap? Oh, what a mess. Like Duramax only has 10 speed. Mine is a 10 speed. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they, depending on the years and stuff. The 6L80 is tried and true. That is, I mean, as long as you do maintenance on it, it seems like they hold up. At least at least you get a fair amount out of them. I mean, I expect, hey, maybe 150, 175, 200,000. Hey, a transmission is going to puke out. I get it. But when you're at 80 or even like 120, I go, that's ridiculous, especially if you're doing maintenance. Now if you don't ever do nothing to it, that's not on you, but, and people are doing maintenance on them, and you just can't, that's why I was panicking when I thought the newer vans had I thought, oh my gosh, it was one of those things I never even looked at. It just, hey, it's the Chevy Express. They're all the same. Their bodies have been the same. I didn't even know they changed the transmissions in them. And so I don't even know I tried looking the other couple days ago at the newer. It didn't really spec it out to what it was. I'm sure there was maybe, like, if you go probably like look at the dealership and look at their the vehicle tag on it, it'll tell you. But I was like, does it have an 8 speed or does it have a 10 speed? And I thought, well, either way, if it has an 8 speed or 10 speed, they're junk. So what does it matter? Like, and then I was thinking, have they started doing that fuel active management? Like they creep it up. How they start creeping it, right? They'll creep it into other vehicles. Well, we never did it on these, but now we're gonna start doing it on this. Chevy has the CP3 issues. No good. Always do CP4 if you buy a certain year. The CP3 you can convert it to the CP4. All I know is, man, those things grenade. And it's no good. It's no good. Like I said, for me, the diesels were just too much. Not pulling enough, not traveling enough. Just get a gasser. I had a 4.6 that was too underpowered. It was a V8 4.6. Man, that just did not have enough power. But the Hemis actually were pretty good. I like the Hemis. I don't know about the newer ones. You know what I mean? The newer ones, I can't say anything. 7.3, I bet, does pretty good. My 6.2 actually did pretty good. It likes the RPMs. But I forget whatever the Raptor was on the torque, and I thought I got to be there or higher. I think it was more like you got to be close to about 400 or something. I don't remember what the horsepower is. It was like 320 or something. I don't know. And then I forget what it was. Whatever that truck was, I told myself that was about the minimum I'd want for pulling like a scissor lift and stuff like that. I felt really comfortable in that truck. Also really helped when you had your shifter, though. We have the gear shifter right there, I don't know what the hell they call it. They got a column, and then you got your, I don't know what you call it when it's right next to you, but that was nice because you could just sit there and push the button for your gears. And if you're towing a heavy load, and the tow haul worked pretty good for it too. So I was pretty impressed with the 6.2. I like that truck for a gas. So I'd like to try 7.3, but I just sounds like they eat up cams occasionally. It's not super common, but it's right there with the Hemis. Says what's this guy? It says such van has a 4L80 4-speed trans, might convert to the 4L60. We'll see. Because isn't, was it the 4L60? The 4L60 is, that's kind of a mutt one. I heard that one's not. It works, but it's not as good. It's a smaller, obviously, and more half tons and stuff. I got to find a company because I got one. I got one in my Dodge. I know it's weird. It's converted, but I don't think the guy rebuilt it correctly. So I might just want to buy one down the road. And I forget who he was. He was mentioning you can buy. Like, I don't want to buy. I think Jasper's kind of went out the door. I don't think Jasper's a good company to buy stuff from anymore. I hear too many hit and miss. And I thought, man, if I eventually just buy a train, I like want to buy one that's just like rebuilt and it's done right, and it's just, I know it's built as good as it could be. uh Tanner's got, yeah, was 700. Oh my gosh, that's crazy. I don't need quite that. I just need the low end torque. Only 700. What's, yeah, always says he what's the Nissan making than that. Yeah, the Nissan is nothing, man. The Nissan is a dog. It is a dog for a 6-cylinder, but it's good on gas and it's very nimble. I was doing something with the other day and I just thought, man, this thing just maneuvers. I get into parking spots, I get into tight spaces. I just, man, this thing is just so like nimble. Like me. I need to be a little more nimble. I need to lighten up on the cheeseburgers myself. Somewhat reliable. He says, "Oh, winners, anything over 700, 800." He says they run like hell. I know you get out like Colorado, man. I told myself, man, I would not be without a diesel. Man, those hills, holy crap, those are no joke. I don't know why, but I could see Dave buying one of those tiny Japanese trucks. Oh, yeah, the new ones. I would. They won't make them legal. You know what I mean? I like those little. They probably don't run out. My big thing is like I'm still a pretty big fan of uh I don't know. I'm kind of torn. Like, I don't like the spider. I forget what they call them, the spider intakes on some of those Vortex. But I still like the 2000 to, what is it, about 2006? I think it is, era of Chevys. Parts are cheap. They're readily available. Everybody and their brother can work on them. I mean, there ain't nobody don't know how to work on a Chevy. You know what I mean? Take it to any mechanic. Um, they're just, but the problem I run into is that I've been kind of spoiled because, like I said, I deal with the little truck and I get good gas mileage. It's really nimble. Like I said, it's like a Swiss Army knife. It ain't a machete. And I try to I try to retrain my brain because you know I've done the bigger vehicles, and it seems like I just how do I explain it? How do I explain it? It's like you just figure it out. You know what I mean? Like, you figure out a way to make it happen. Like, you have to work smarter, not harder. And I've had a lot of bigger vehicles that you typically, you either just start loading them down with a bunch of stuff that you might not need. You know what I mean? Like, my cutaway van just seemed like it kind of got more stuff and more stuff. And, hey, I should start carrying this because I got the room. And next thing you know, it's like the tires look like they're going to blow out. So I don't know. I don't know. It's just crazy. And then obviously when I need something bigger, I just go rent it, and I can get, um, I haven't seen nobody beat my my 24-foot, U-Haul truck you know. I mean, I could haul anything. So it just you just kind of make it work, you know. But I probably will have to get into something a little bit bigger eventually, just for possibly towing, but we'll see. But I've been down that road, and I just I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready. Stuff fits in garages better. Uh I was literally just texting today on my side of my truck, and I thought, man, this is the best leaning truck I've ever had. Like it just is the right height. Even my daughter, she loves it because I don't, kids are weird. She loves it because her feet touch the ground. I don't know. That's She loves it. She calls it the paw truck. Can we drive the paw truck? We can drive the paw truck. She loves that truck because her feet touch the ground. Okay. Somewhat reliable. Let's see. And those tinies. Let's see here. Buy one of those cheap, then a side by side. Yeah, yeah, it's cheaper. We got side by sides up north, man. Those things are insane. They're legal to ride on the roads, so they're just like all over the place up there. And but man, those things are expensive. It's like, wow. Build a diesel in Iowa and tune it with upwards 70 says takes mounds. This will run like hell. Oh, density can mess with it. Oh, interesting. It's like was it TFL truck, right? The Gauntlet. That's interesting. Crazy rat for advertising. The crazy Japanese. There's a place when you're going up to up north to the trailer. There's a place that's got like 5 or 6 of those things sitting there. I think they're a little bit too small. I need something I can go down the highway that when the wind hits it, I'm not gonna like totally flip over, But I wish they would make them legal, just because that way it gives people options. It'd be a great little deer camp truck. And you swap mini jet truck with a 1,000 seat sport bike motor. Love those videos. I never seen those ones. They are so fast. Huh. I never even seen one of those. That's crazy. Huh. That's interesting. My big thing is for vehicles. This is how I look at it, right? I can't go like I would just go with like old square bodies. You know what I mean? I love old square bodies trucks, some Fords, some Chevy, some Dodge. Problem is the overdrive. That's where it kills me. I got a few highways that you got to hit, and you got to have overdrive. You know what I mean? When I used to drive, I used to have a square body, and that one it was basically a 3-speed or whatever was in it. And I remember I had a 400 Chevy small block in it, and man, that thing just, I mean, it was short wheelbase too, and I mean, just screaming down the highway. I'm going into like the big city, and I'm just like, I gotta get a truck with overdrive. This truck's just ripping, man. The gas is just going down as fast as it didn't pass gas stations. Basically, it only had like a 14-gallon tank too. Whoever kind of modified this thing, and yeah, it was a ripper, but it would suck the gas, man. And so that's why it's like, I was honestly thinking too. I was kind of thinking about the other day because I was thinking about Eric when he just mentioned about the Dodges, and I thought, a lot of the trucks I look at are vehicles are pretty old. We're hitting, 15, 20 some years old almost. And I thought, what's interesting is that most of those trucks you can look at, and it's kind of weird, even with the Nissans, right? I don't know which gen I am, but the next gen, they rust quite commonly over the fenders. And the way this one was designed, not that my truck's got some rust underneath, but you just don't see it. It's got fender flares and stuff. But it's amazing that I thought, boy, if you could find one that was a Southern truck, how much farther ahead you'd be. But they were built pretty decent for the rust proofing, right? You know how it is. You guys have looked through Marketplace, and you know how it is. You see very common, but just like with the Toyotas, right? The 2007, I think, or '06 Toyota Tundras, there's like no rust on the body as far as I can remember. It's the bumpers and the frame, right? Because they manufacture the frame wrong. but the bodies will hold up. So it's kind of a weird caveat with certain manufacturers where it's like the bodies were built pretty good for rust proofing. But you know, the other stuff, right? The frame, the arms, the control arms and stuff, that's the stuff you got to watch out. But if you can get a Southern vehicle, and then if you could get it sprayed, you know, then you might have one that'll last a while. Or get a Ford Ranger. Ford Rangers are pretty good. The old Ford Rangers, man, all those years I think were pretty solid. The new ones, I don't know about the new ones. My problem, he says, I can't buy something and leave it alone. Big problem, but he says, AKA for vehicle modifications addiction or addicts for the addicts. Yeah, that's okay. It's okay. I got to get back in the groove. I got one. I got my old Dodge. I got to do some stuff too. I got to get the drive line straightened out on it, and I'm not looking forward to it. I just kind of want to take it in, but I also kind of like need to wrench again, if that makes sense. But normally time is always an issue, so that's kind of the problem. But I'm starting to, you know, kind of find and make some time. You know, find it's that time. You know, I gotta either I gotta ship it or I gotta fix it. One of the two. And I, like I said, I don't mind it if I got time. It's just once you start getting over 40, you know, crawling those vehicles, it starts feeling a little different, you know. Finally bought myself even a creeper, you know, but sometimes it'd be nice if it was a little higher with a lift, you know. You can register them in Pennsylvania as antique as long as it's over 25 years. I think I was just hearing what Scotty. I think old Scotty Kimler came out with something talking about what do? They register in Montana or a business or something. You can register. I think I can't remember if you register a business or it was the vehicles, and then you can do like you don't have to pay something. I can't remember off the top of my head. My memory is always so bad. Uh, what did Rich got here? So did a job today. He had a four setter looked like a Baja buggy. Ooh, ooh, the big old man. Those guys, like I said, they got so much money wrapped up in those things. What's it say? Maybe gamblers anonymous. There you go. That's great. That is great. Got a 19, says four coupe served from grandpa. Dad, when they passed, he says, way, kind of diesel swapping it. He says, or just boring out the gas motor. He says, we'll see. Got a rumble seat. Ooh, and all nice. Nice. Yeah, right. Right. Like, yeah, look at Evan's guy. Says Tanner make it electric. Yeah, right. Shoot. Milwaukee batteries. Oh, I see it. I see it. The Milwaukee batteries. I just had it right on a Milwaukee battery today. I had to put a question mark that I think it might be going bad. I was using it in a power pack, and I had a family member that lost power. They were using it, and they said, this battery keeps going dead like way faster than the other. And I was like, really? Luckily, he has a few too, but so it was all good. But I was like, dang. I was like, those batteries are like 200 and some bucks a piece. Those big 12 amp. I don't think they won't repair or replace the batteries, will they, Rich B? Remember the video about the Milwaukees? Kind of still want to test that out. See if I can send a tool in and they'll just fix it. Check about the electric crap. Ooh, a diesel. There you go. Diesel rat rod. Nice. Nice. That could be cool. That could definitely be cool. That would be interesting. What is it? 12? Holy mackerel, it's 12:20. All right, guys. It's over and out. Hope you guys have a good Sunday. Evan, got any questions or any problems? Hit me up. We're here for you. Always, you guys have a wonderful night, evening. Make it run on water. Boz Clinton's. We don't need swimming the fish. I think I missed it. Oh, I missed it. What does it say? Sleeper roll over in his grave and made electric, he'd probably diesel swap. Diesel guy. All right, guys, get some sleep. Take care. I got to go do some research on 6.6. Got to find some dirt. Just joking. We'll see you guys. Have a good one. Keep those fingers alive.